Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sibylla. For those of you who are new here, I want to say welcome. For those of you who are returning, I want to say thank you so much for coming back. I really do appreciate your support. The last video I brought to you was letting you know that I dropped a new single called I Need a Man, which is available on all streaming platforms. I hope you guys have had a listen. Please make sure you go listen, add it to your playlist, add it to your liked songs, and just, give me your feedback, share it on your social media, use it on your Instagram reels, your TikToks, your Instagram, stories. Just, use it, support the music, and just try and put it out there for me. I really do appreciate it. All your help and all the support. So today I'm going to be talking about one of those themes that kind of runs through my head, and I kind of hear a lot when they're talking about artists in the industry, or people are talking about their past or how they kind of came to make it. And it's one of those things that I always sat there and thought, can I subscribe to this? Like, does this make sense to me? And it kind of never really did, and it still doesn't. And that's the idea of the struggling artist. I feel like the narrative that we get is, to become an artist, you kind of have to struggle, which is true. Like, there's so many different ways that artists struggle to kind of make it. It's an uphill battle. You're trying to, a lot of people are trying to get signed. They're trying to get their music out. They're trying to get noticed. But the narrative that I really get is this, not having that much money, living on people's couches, and all that's real struggle, not knowing where you're going to get your next meal, all of that kind of stuff. And that for me is something that my brain could never really get on board with. I feel like I'm one of those people that plans for my future and the near future. I don't really know how to survive if I don't know where the next meal is coming from. I don't know how to survive if I don't know whether there's going to be a roof over my head, which roof it's going to be, if there's going to be a sofa, a bed. I need to know those things. Those things are important to me. At university, I was that person where people are trying to go out to the clubs, have some fun. I'm like, let's look at my accounts. Like, what is this looking like? What money is coming in? What's next week gonna look like? Will I have enough money to provide for myself, to provide for my family? Like, that was important to me. So I'd never really understood those people who would kind of go out to the clubs, have a great time, pop bottles, buy new clothes, do all that, and then will come over to my house and be like, oh, I'm hungry, do you have any food? Excuse me, no. I made my budget, I made my plans. I wasn't in the club. Like, I did my thing because I need to kind of cover my own meals. Like, don't do that. So yeah, I've kind of really struggled with that narrative, and I feel like a lot of people have discussed it. A lot of people that have made it in the industry kind of talk about how, I slept on my friends' couches and I did this and I did that, and I just always thought to myself, I can't. Like, it just doesn't work for me. I was fortunate enough to have my family home to live in, and we live in London. I feel like a lot of artists that kind of talk about that, like, struggling artist narrative, came from different parts of, like, the UK, and maybe felt like they need to come to London because that's a better scene for music, and made friends on the scene, and then they kind of did their own thing. And I don't know, I don't trust other people. I don't trust other people to provide for me, to support me. And you never know what people are like. People can be so flaky. Like, somebody might agree that you can stay with them, and then you're calling their number and they don't pick up the phone. No, like, that's not gonna work for me. I can't. Like, it's just no. And I feel like with that comes a specific age where you need to stop. I feel like when I was a lot younger, like 25, 26, I was still kind of doing that thing. But once I started to get to the age of 27, it was kind of like, okay, I need to get it together, because I have friends, in other industries, in the corporate world, who are doing their thing. They're climbing the ladder, they're making moves, right? They're making investments, they're starting to plan for their future. And it gets to a point with being a musician where you have to pause and, like, look at your life. Like, you cannot live, for the day. It just gets to a point where you're like, okay, I'm starting to get older. I need to make better plans for my future, for myself. And I feel like between the age of, that, 18 to 26, once you start to reach that 26, 27, I'm there for you chasing your dream, but I feel like it gets to a point where you need to start thinking, okay, what can I do just in case? What do I do to cover my back? You know, and I feel like some people don't like to have like a second plan, because it's like, oh, maybe they doubt the other one. But it's like, if you are not where you think you would like to be at that age, then I think it's time to start to put other things in place to make sure that by the time you turn 30, you're not just, you know, still in the same position you were in at 21. Like, that's not a good idea. I feel like for me, once I hit that 27, you know, I was out there, I was having fun, and it was really, really fun being young and being on the scene, and, you know, doing all sorts of different things in the evenings and just having fun with your friends, going to different studios, you know, having fun. It was a good time. But I was like, I need to get myself a proper job, like a proper 9 to 5, no like temping anymore. Like, I need to make sure I get something. And I kind of really tested out a few industries to see what kind of job would pay me regularly, a good salary that I can spend on music but also save, and then, you know, is also flexible, because I didn't want to be working in the cafe. I didn't want to be doing all those like menial jobs. Like, that wasn't for me. So I managed to find one that worked perfectly, where in the evenings I could go to the studio. I had enough holiday days that I could take off, and the job meant that it was 9 to 5. I wasn't needing to take my work home with me. Rarely did they need me to kind of do some extra work ever. Like, it's just really a 9 to 5. You pop in at 9, at 5 o'clock you're out the door. Nobody's calling you. There's nothing to do. It's a wrap, you know. And I feel like I managed to find that balance for me, where it was a job that paid me enough so I could still go to the studio in the evening, so I could still pay for things to get done. And I feel like that was important to me, finding that job that had that balance, you know. And I'm lucky to have found a job that's flexible, where if I say tomorrow I can't show up tomorrow, it's not like, oh my God, the world is about to like shut down, like this is a big deal, or you can't go. I have good colleagues, I have a good boss, it's a good vibe. And I feel like a lot of us that are in the industry, we can find that where we can still support ourselves and still invest in our music and our future, but not leave it to the point where, you know, you don't have any experience and you're trying to get into the job markets at 30 with no experience, and you're starting on a salary that a 21-year-old or 22-year-old would be getting. That kind of will demoralize you. But I just feel like that's kind of what I thought about. But yeah, I just feel once you start to, if you're in the industry and you're starting to get to that 27, 28, I feel like it's time to start thinking about the future. If you're not really making big moves or things are not really happening, I think it's time to start thinking about the future and what you can do to kind of better your life. I managed to like save enough money. I managed to get my own flat. I just feel like I knew I couldn't be creative if I was worrying about money, if I was worrying about where I need to sleep. Like, I'm not set up that way. Like, I'm not going to draw inspiration from this. Like, I don't draw inspiration from that. I'm going to need to know where my next meal is coming from. I'm going to need to know where I'm going to lay my head in the evening. Like, those things are important. I'm not going to enjoy that gig if in the back of my head I'm thinking, oh gosh, what am I doing tomorrow? Am I going to have bus money to like travel to this place? Am I going to have money to eat? Like, that, what is that? That doesn't work for me. Like, I need stability. I need security. Like, those things are so important to me. Once I have those things, I'm a lot more creative. I can sit down and write and, you know, think of all these ideas that I have. But those ideas they shut down completely once I'm like worried about anything. Never really works. So yeah, the struggling artist narrative never really worked for me. I just, maybe I'm privileged and I had family that could support me on this journey and friends that could support me on this journey. But I do feel like I've watched people who, you know, like I met this guy and he was kind of teaching on the side for so long, you know, and he was super cool when I first met him, like super cool, you know, very like musician, cool dude. And he was kind of doing this part-time work as like a music teacher, and he was still doing his thing on the side, and you know, it was really fun, and it looked cool, it looked good, right? But it got to the point where he was, I think, 33, 34, and I met him, and he just looked so drained, you know, and he looked very like miserable, and he was still kind of working in this like part-timey job, and he was like, I'm done with music now, I'm giving up, like I'm done. And it just looked so like sad to me. I just felt like I can't be in this position. I can't be in the position where, you know, after all these years, I'm now deciding to start my life. It looks very depressing. Like, guys, my thing is support yourself, figure it out. Don't be frivolous when you're young. Spend money where you have to spend money, but make sure that you save, you know, make sure that you're thinking about your future, you know, push yourself for a few years, go. If you're not making the progress that you think you should have made, then, you know, start to have a fallback plan. That's for me. Start to, you know, think about how you can do that, look into other things, and keep doing what you love. I kept, you know, recording music. I kept writing while I was working. You know, I kept doing that. I was working my 9 to 5, coming back in the evening, having a rest for an hour, and I was going to the studio. It can be done. Like, it's hard for a little while, but it can be done. And now I have enough money to do what I need to do. I feel a lot more comfortable. I know that, okay, in the next few years, I'm going to just go really, really hard, but I have money for my marketing. I have money for hiring guitarists, you know, a band if I need that. I have my own fallback plan, you know, and I've invested the time, but now I can like really go in. I feel like people always feel like you need to be successful when you're young, and it's this thing that kind of like made me feel so bad for so long. But I'm in my 30s and I'm fine and I'm loving it. But for those of you who are in the position where, you know, you don't have that much money to invest in your music, to record and stuff, there's so many different charities and unions out there that you can, you know, check out. And one of them is the Musicians Union. That gives you a lot of help with all sorts of different things, like, you know, songwriting, song share contracts, and just a lot of advice. There's so much on that website that is so helpful. So, you know, follow them on Instagram, go and check them out on the internet, and just look for whatever information that you require. Another one is Help Musicians. That's like a charity that kind of supports you financially. So I feel like you should check out that as well if you're struggling, if you don't have enough money to do what you need to do. So go check that out. Anyway, struggling artists narrative, it's not for me. It's never been, but I'm doing well, and I hope that you guys are doing well. Please comment in the comment section and let me know how you're doing and if you have any thoughts on this video. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Lots of love. Bye, guys.